Hey, Coach, you see James is available. I know you've been cautious about the neck. How limited will he be? How much will he be feeling it as he gives it a go tonight?
We'll see. He wants to play and he feels well enough to play, but I don't think he'll know until he's, fully out there in the middle of it, how well he feels. But, I think he's definitely improved and good enough to go.
With these games with Detroit, what is it about their style of play that makes it kind of a grinded out kind of basketball game?
They definitely protect the paint. They play physical. They play really hard. Coach Casey, really has them playing with a lot of spirit and energy. So they're going to match our energy and then some. We got to make sure we come out and match theirs and play as, with as much intent and purpose as we can, and not take anything for granted.
Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey, Steve, I know you don't have Landry tonight, but you hadn't had an update on him the last time we got you. Do you expect him back next week potentially?
Potentially. We don't really have a date yet, but he's improving, and we'll evaluate it when we get back to Brooklyn. But definitely moving in the right direction and not a long-term thing.
Malika Andrews with ESPN.
Hey, Steve, two for you. First, do you have a sense of how Blake feels going back to Detroit tonight?
Not really. I think he's excited to play it, but I don't know that it's. I don't know that I don't know the depths of his joy in this rematch, so to speak.
The depths of his joy sounds like some sort of novel. And then secondly, Alizé had this pretty phenomenal game considering he hadn't played with you all at all. What's the thought with him tonight now that you have more bodies back?
Yeah, we'll see. Frankly, we'll probably go back to a more familiar rotation, but he did prove that he can defend and rebound and plays extremely hard. So if there's an opportunity to play him, we're confident to play him after the way he played against Utah. So really impressive performance for someone who's probably been on his couch for a few weeks since the G League bubble. So, as we go, we'll determine whether we need to use him or not. But he proved that he's I think can handle some responsibility for sure.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Christian Winfield with the New York Daily News.
Hey, Coach, got two for you. First, when you have a team that's rolling, like you guys had been rolling before this little skid where guys are out, and then you also have a guy like Kevin who's not part of the rotation, but you guys are still rolling. Does it give the team extra confidence knowing that you have a former MVP, a player of his caliber that's going to join a team that's already been on these winning streaks?
Definitely. I think we've proven that we can win without Kevin. We've proven we can win without Kevin and Kai at times. And knowing how great they are, I think it does give the guys confidence that we're only going to improve when they come back. But we have the confidence to win when they're not here, not available to play. So, I think we've built that confidence and trust over the course of the last, whatever it's been now, 5-6 weeks. And I think it is definitely added to our confidence, but also just the energy in the group. We have a great environment. I think guys really genuinely enjoy being a part of this and have proven that they have value. Even if when those guys come back, their roles aren't as big, they've been a part of this thing. I think that gives them a sense of reward and hope and connectivity.
Right. And secondly, in terms of the extra work group, the Stay Ready group, obviously, Bruce was a part of that, comes out and he gets a key role. Landry's part of that, comes out, gets a key role. What have you seen from the guys in the Stay Ready group, and what are you guys trying to drill into them that has allowed them to be ready for the opportunity that they get when their number is called?
Just doing their daily work. It's almost impossible to be daily the way the schedule is and travel days and, the amount of injuries or COVID or whatever it's been that's kind of hampered our roster. You can't overload these guys all the time like you may in a situation where they're out of the rotation. So the Stay Ready group almost evaporates at times during the season because guys are needed to play. But, just that mentality of this is what we do. We do it consistently. We work whenever we get the chance and literally to stay ready. And so I think that mentality of being prepared and being, kind of religious with that approach has allowed these guys to come in and out of the rotation with a lot of success.
Ryan Dunleavy with the New York Post.
Steve, I apologize that my internet was in and out, so I apologize this already. But the trade deadline, you guys were kind of quiet. What did you make of that? And where do you think, what do you think of the moves the rest of the East made and how that stacks up now that it seems like the Bucks, the Heat, and the Sixers all got better?
Yeah, I don't really consider too much the other teams. I really worry about our group and trying to make sure that we're staying on course. So for me, I haven't really dug in too deep, but teams are all going to try to improve and give themselves a more comprehensive roster. So you expect that. For us, we feel great about our roster. We I think have great chemistry and environment, and so we're just happy to go through the deadline and continue to move forward with this group and continue to work and get better and put ourselves in a position to compete at the end of the season.
Back to Michael Grady with Yes Network.
Coach, I know part of this you've been forced to because of injuries, but how is your feel for rotation and tinkering with the lineup? How has that feel developed over the course of the season in terms of the combinations that you feel work?
Good question. I definitely don't want to act like there's some science behind it, because a lot of it is just feel and taking a chance. And I think to counterbalance the volatility of some of the choices and moves is just making sure that everyone is, feels clear about what we're trying to do, that everyone feels valued, that we appreciate all the work that people put in, and whatever the combination is, we're all pulling in the right direction. So sometimes, our rotations, matchups work extremely well. Sometimes they probably don't, but can you cover up maybe some of those moments or stretches where you didn't have the success you would hope for because everyone's pulling together in the same direction and we have that kind of chemistry and culture behind it. So, sometimes it's more feel than anything, and other times it's necessity. So I don't want to over congratulate ourselves for some of the rotational success at the same time. We feel confident with all our guys and that everyone can put in a good shift when they have their number called.
Back to Alex Schiffer with The Athletic.
Hey, Steve, I got a two-parter for you. We saw against Utah, some interesting lineups we hadn't seen before, like Reggie, Nick, and DJ on the floor at the same time. How much of that was a product of the roster you had and being shorthanded and, maybe it being something you want to try at some point and just figuring, hey, why not tonight?
No, it was largely just trying to get through the game. And at certain times we have to play, 3 front court guy, 3 centers, more or less, for a short stretch. It is interesting. We were sitting there seeing how would this work? How would this look? How could we develop that? But at the same time, it's so far down the list of our priorities that, let's say we probably won't see that again. But mostly it was out of necessity and just trying to manage the minutes and the games. And sometimes the rotations were going to be a little bit funky, particularly in the first half. And that's really all there was to it.
You answered my second part there too. Thanks.
I love it when a plan comes together. That's great.
Back to Ryan Dunleavy with The Post.
Steve, there's a report out there from Yahoo that you guys are going to be in contact with LaMarcus Aldridge. Has that happened yet? And now that he's a free agent, you can talk about him. What do you think of him as a player?
I'm not going to comment on any players. That's for the front office. Anyone that's not on our roster. So I'll leave that one for Sean and his group to discuss.
Thanks so much, Coach. We appreciate it.
Thanks, everybody.